And there's a song on British Steel that's become synonymous to this band and to the world of heavy metal. We're going to share you with it tonight, and it's because it creates heavy metal magic wherever we go when we say these special words. Breaking the what? Breaking the what? Breaking the what? Let's go break that law right now here in London, baby.
Very good.
So in this new episode of Metal Oda'da, my guest is the wonderful Ian Hill, bass guitarist and founder of Judas Priest. So 5 decades went by since the release of the first Judas Priest album, which was Rock'n'Rolla in 1974. And you are the sole constant member of the Judas Priest for more than 50 years now. And if you could go back in time to the 1970s and ask a young Ian whether he would have imagined Judas Priest becoming such a big band in metal, as a band defining heavy metal music, and what would he like to say us, the young Ian?
Oh, I don't know. I mean back then, you hope you're going to make it and hope you're going to get on in the world and become popular. You don't ever believe it until it happens, but you just keep on, and it's really just patience and persistence more than anything. Just keep at it. And if you've got something to offer, it's what I'd say to anybody who's starting up today. Although it is a little bit more difficult getting on today. Not that it was ever easy, but it's a little bit more difficult today. Because the system has changed beyond all recognition from when we started. But it's it is persistence and keep at it and self-belief.
And the title Invincible Shield is very symbolic of Judas Priest, I think. And as Rob said in an interview, that this invincible shield represents the band in a way, and all the struggles of its members and the strength of Judas Priest, which made it a 5-decade band. So what does Invincible Shield represent for you?
It's just that, basically. I mean, we've had a lot of stuff thrown at us over the years. I mean, people have been trying to kill heavy metal now for about 35, 40 years, so it's always been a bit of a struggle against the establishment, if you know what I mean. But we've always sort of managed to survive and come through it. And then, we've had court cases where people trying to screw us out of a lot of money for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And then the personal struggles of the members of the band, I mean, Rob's had cancer scares. Richie almost died on stage a few years ago. And of course, Glenn's problems with his Parkinson's disease, and even that, he can still get up on stage and play, a couple of the encores. It's almost like having an invincible shield there in front of you. Although I'll just put a kiss of death on that, probably. But
Well, the Invincible Shield is a very impressive album, and it has that classic Judas Priest sound, and it brings, while bringing so many good memories of major albums like the British Steel, the Painkiller, and Turbo, and many more. The album sounds very modern and fresh. And I know that Richie is a key member modernizing the sound of Judas Priest, and that he works closely with Glenn, contributing to with new material and writing new music. And what are your thoughts on the modern sound of Judas Priest?
Well, it's something that we've always done, is try to move forward with every album. It's the only sort of criteria that we have is try and make it better than the last one. and that's continued right up until this present day. Richie has put a more modern angle on it, and we're grateful to him for that, you know. And he's had a hell of a lot of input in this album and the last one, and even, you know, Redeemer of Souls as well, you know. And yeah, and we've also used producers on the last couple of albums as well. In Andy Sneap, you know, did it on his own with Invincible Shield, and he worked with Tom Allen on Firepower, and I think that's got a lot to do with it as well, you know. Before that, for the last several albums before Firepower, we were pretty much producing ourselves, you know. But Andy Sneap, you see, he's got a great reputation with the more modern bands as well. So he brought that feel with him as well, you know. And it's a culmination of all of those things. And yeah, I mean, the album is a culmination of everything that went before. So there's always going to be hints there of previous albums, you know, because it's what we are basically. But as you say, with a more modern edge these days, you know.
Yeah, and maybe that is the reason why today the music of Judas Priest also appeals to young metal music listeners as well as to your peers, maybe.
That's very true. And we look down into the audience now, and there's some very young faces there, you know. And if you keep taking, you know, those steps forwards and keeping up with the times, it keeps you fresh, it keeps you modern, it keeps you relevant to today's new fans, you know. And it's great news, not just for us, you know. When you look down there, you see faces. It's great news in general for well, for heavy metal in particular, but for music in general, you know. The young people are getting, you know, they're getting into it, and they're prepared to, you know, part with hard-earned cash there to come and see you live or buy one of your records, and it's a great sign, you know. And I think there's a great future for live and recorded music, you know.
And maybe in that sense, we might say that rock and metal music is something that keeps us young, isn't it?
It does, yeah, very much so. I mean, it keeps me young. I hate to think what state I'd be in if I didn't do what I did for a living, you know. But it is, you're having to keep up with the Richie Faulkner's and things like that, you know. And it does, it keeps you young. It makes you, you know, think twice before you have that second cake with your cup of coffee and stuff like that, you know. It's yeah, it does, it keeps you young.
Yeah. In an interview, Rob said he likes the music of Sleep Token. So they are one of my favorite modern metal bands, along with the Architects and the Tesseract. And I believe that it is no coincidence that this innovative and modern metal music has emerged from the UK. And what are your thoughts on this new and modern and eclectic music these bands are making today?
Yeah, I'm not familiar, you know, with any particular bands, but what I have noticed is, you see, heavy metal, traditional heavy metal has always been versatile. There's always been various aspects of it. I mean, we've done songs,
Exactly.
you know, like Before the Dawn, that'll make you want to weep, and right the way through things like Painkiller, that'll make you scared, and everything in between, you know. And so it's always had that versatile quality to it. In the 90s, there it sort of fragmented, didn't it? It went into speed metal and grunge metal and goth metal and speed metal. You know, you went off in these different directions. And now it's sort of coming back where one band's playing all of that stuff, you know, and it's coming back to being more versatile again. And I think that's a good thing. And I think it's one of the major. The thing is, when you fragment and you go off into a direction, you've just decimated your fan base, if you know what I mean. You know, some people don't like that side of things. Some people buy one of our records and they'll love Painkiller, but they'll hate Before the Dawn. But they like it, you know what I mean? Because then there's always a mixture there. So you get a lot more people buy it. You know, you get the people that do like the Before the Dawn sort of stuff, the more commercial sides of things, which is overlooked. it is important, the commercial aspect of heavy metal, because that'll get you onto mainstream radio and things like that, and get yourself over to more fans, and you might turn a few more people onto it. Yeah, it's all coming back to be like, as you say, eclectic, and but bands aren't afraid of trying something new in their own repertoire.
Yeah, and as you said, versatility is a key factor in the essence of being a good musician, because you can get inspiration from so many different genres, from classical music to jazz, from heavy metal to oriental music, maybe.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's a key factor. Both the recording format and the content of music changed in 50 years. So, what are your thoughts on today's music, which is no longer tangible like it was in the past, but which has become more accessible through the internet?
Well, that's it. I mean, when you stream, when you get your music through streaming, you don't get any of that. You just get the sound right. That's all you get.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you're still in the dark, and you don't own it either. And you could only listen to that stuff if you have an internet connection. But if you're in the middle of a field on a picnic and you haven't got an internet connection, you can't listen to your music. And that's what people don't understand. That you don't own it. You're allowed to listen to it.
And tell me your thoughts on the use of artificial intelligence in music.
I know, it's funny, isn't it? People all seem to be
It's
trying to
funny.
get rid of, trying to get rid of the human element of things.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can say is somebody's got to program these things, and there has to be raw material there in order to pour into it to start with. I don't know. I think I'd probably be able to recognize if it's been done by a computer or a machine or whatever. But it's scary, and
It's scary.
I don't know why they're trying to get rid of the creative element of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial intelligence has got to go a long way before it can create music. Okay, so once you've done that, what are all the musicians going to do for a living?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to buy it? Nobody's got any money because nobody's got any work. You know what I mean? They're just continually trying to get rid of the human being, and it's scary. And I think the brakes will be put on it. I don't think that probably, I don't know, the general public will put up with it. Not a great deal of it. It's in the sense of your GPS system in your car. That's great.
Yeah.
Some machine telling you which way to go. But when it starts to take over from the human element, that's
Mm-hmm.
not right. That's inhuman.
And after the pandemic, all the lockdowns and everything, the Turkish metal music is very happy this year because so many wonderful rock and metal artists announced their Istanbul concerts, including Scorpions, Megadeth, Deep Purple, Bruce Dickinson, Accept, and Judas Priest will be on the stage on the 24th of July here in Istanbul. And it is not the first time Judas Priest is coming to Istanbul. And are you excited to meet the Turkish fans once again?
Absolutely. It's pretty much new. I think we've been twice to Istanbul before,
Yeah.
and we thoroughly enjoyed each occasion.
Mhm.
And it's always great to meet new people. Even after 50 years, you find this little corner of the world that they haven't been to yet. And it's always great when you do. It gives a fresh outlook on things. And
Mhm.
yeah, we're looking
Mhm.
forward to it. Really are. We're greatly looking.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So you still have strong ties with the West Midlands and the homeland of Judas Priest, where most of its members are currently living. Last year, I sat on the Black Sabbath bench in Broad
Oh,
Street.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that Birmingham needs a comprehensive rock and metal music museum in Birmingham.
I think it's a great idea. There's been a hell of a lot of musicians and bands, singers that have come out of the area. The West Midlands in general. There's been a hell of a lot of bands. It'd be a good idea. There's an exhibition once at Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery. Whether it's still there or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's a great idea that they should do, and be more proud of the musical heritage that came from Birmingham. There's a lot of excellent acts that came out of there. Electric Light Orchestra, The Move, part of Led Zeppelin was from there. Robert
Yeah,
Plant,
exactly.
Bottom.
Exactly.
A hell of a lot of acts came out of the West Midlands. So yeah, there should be some kind of, at least a mention somewhere of it.
Coming back to Invincible Shield, my favorite tracks from the album have been the Crown of Horns, Trial by Fire, Vicious Circle, and Invincible Shield, of course. What has been your favorite track from the album?
At the moment, I think it's the title track, Invincible Shield. It's like a production piece. There's lots of different parts to it, lots of key changes and things like that. And it's one of the challenging ones to play as well, which I quite enjoy. So at the moment, it's liable to change, but at the moment, that's the one that I'm preferring at the moment.
Great. And my favorite question, tell me what music means to you in just one word.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
When you finish work or whatever it is you're doing, you finish the gardening or the housework or the laundry, and you relax, there's nothing better than putting one of your favorite records on, and just having a cup of tea or a glass of beer, whatever, and it's
Wonderful.
just
Great. And what would you like to say to your Turkish Judas Priest fans who are eagerly waiting for the Istanbul concert in July?
Yeah, we can't wait to get back out there, as I say, we've always had a great time on the two previous occasions we've been to Istanbul. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We think you're all crazy, which is great because we fit right in. And we're looking forward to getting there and playing some of the new songs for you,
Wonderful. So thank you so much for your time and for being my guest here in Metal Oda'da. And please send my regards to all members of Judas Priest, and I hope to see you in Istanbul this summer.
I will. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.
Read more on metaloda.com.